Good afternoon, Logesh. Have you given the exam today? How many of you have written the exam? Okay, very good, Logesh. So, how was the exam? So, we will start our discussion. And one thing that I will tell you that we will start the discussion with the questions of the chapters that we have already covered. Like we have covered optics, we have covered thermodynamics and semiconductor, dual nature, atoms. So these topics I will pick first so that you can relate and it will be a good practice for you. So let's start. This is the first question. This is the first question. That's why it is here. And very simple, fundamental question. It just doesn't belong to any chapter. This is a fundamental question. Question says y is equals to something x square plus 5x minus x square plus 5x, then y is greatest. Like y is given as minus x square plus 5x. They are asking you the maximum value of y. So whenever question asks you the maximum value or the minimum value, in that situation, you need to find the differentiation of that quantity. So here you can see y depends on x. So for maxima, I will say for y to be maximum, dy over dx should be equals to 0. This is the condition of maxima or minima. However, there is this another approach to find the uh, double differentiation to get whether it's a maxima or minima, but the necessary condition for both the cases is dy over dx equals to 0. So if I differentiate it, if you differentiate this term, it will become minus 2x plus 5 equals to 0. So x is equals to 5 by 2. This is a very simple cut question. X is equals to 5 by 2, which gives us option number D. Clear? I think this is a simple question. Moving further. So what you should remember for maxima and minima, dy over dx should be 0. What is dy over dx? This is called as slope. This is called as slope. Now, this is the question of semiconductor. You can say logic gates. And you need to answer this question. They are saying that two inputs A and B are 1. Then in terms of Boolean algebra, the value of A dot B plus A is not equals to. So first of all, you should find the value of A dot B plus A. However, I am reading it wrong. A dot B, this is not A dot B plus A. This is A and B or A. This is something like that. So if you see A and B, both A and B are 1. So this is 1 and this is or A is again 1. So if you 1 or 1, that is equals to 1. That means, are you getting my point? A and B means if both inputs are high, then output will be high. So A and B will be 1. And if you 1, there are two inputs, 1 and 1. If you use OR function between them, then it will again be 1. So output of this term that is mentioned here, this term is 1. Now we need to identify which another term is not 1. Okay. So you can see that this B is equals to 1. B and A. B and A is equals to 1 or A. So that means its total is 1. B plus A, that is 1 again. That is 1 again. In this case, if you talk about A bar is 0 and B is 1. So if you use AND function and any of the input is low, then output will also be low. So this A bar B will give you 0 output. However, they are asking us the output 1. That's why which option is correct? A bar B, which is the correct option. Now remember, listen to me one more time what I am saying. The given function has a output 1. So what are they saying? The out of the four options, which of the following is not having the same output as this given input? So out of four, first three have a output 1, but out fourth or D option has a output 0. That's why it is the correct answer. This is very fundamental question. Which of these represents NAND gate? You should answer this. You should answer. Okay, NAND gate is what? Combination of and not. I think someone has answered A. Very good, Chichuni. So that's correct option. There is nothing that I should tell because this is and plus not. And plus not. This is the question of optics. Question says, in a simple microscope, we use lens of focal length 5 centimeter. Okay. Final image is formed at 25 centimeter. Find out the magnifying power. So do you remember the formula for magnifying power of a simple microscope? That is m is equals to 1 plus d by f. 1 plus d by f. D is what distance that is given as 25 centimeter. F is what? Focal length. Focal length is given as 5 centimeter. That will be 6. So what is the magnifying power of the simple microscope? It is 6, which is option number C. If the question says that final image is formed at infinity, then it will be the relaxed eye situation. And in that case, magnifying power is equals to d by f only. Magnifying power is d by f when image is at infinity. This is called relaxed eye. I think you should remember this as well. Okay. Now this is again the gravitation chapter that we have studied. They are saying the gravitational field in a region is given something as E is equals to, this is unit, Newton per kg is a unit. So I am writing just only the magnitude 5 I cap plus 12 j cap. This is what given. If the origin is taken as zero potential energy, then the potential energy at 0, 5 is okay. Now, one thing that is given in bracket, which is very important, that is for 1 kg mass. They are asking the potential energy for 1 kg mass. Now, remember one thing. Whenever I say potential, then potential is what? Potential energy per unit mass. Potential energy per unit mass. If mass is given as 1 kg, that means can you say that V is equals to U? V is equals to U. So from the field, if field is given, we can calculate gravitational potential, and that gravitational potential will be equals to U. So what I am saying, delta V or dV is equals to, we have studied it, minus E dot dr. I think this relation you remember. Or you can say if you integrate it, it will become minus E dot dr. Now, what if I say this will become potential difference and minus is already there? How you should write? Ex dx plus Ey dy. I think this thing you should remember now. We have studied it in the gravitation chapter. Now put the values. Minus is already there. Very good, Logesh. What is Ex here? Ex is the component of I cap and Ey is the component of J cap. So that is 5 dx plus 12 dy. Now put the limits. They are saying take the origin as 0, comma 0 and asking for 0, comma 5. That means x is changing from 0 to 0. That means no change in the x, 0 to 0. Y is changing from 0 to 5. 0 to 5. That's what is the limit. Clear? That is minus is already there. This whole term will become 0. Because if we put the limits, it will become 0 minus 0. That is 0. Integration of 12 dy is 12 y. Limit is 0 to 5. Now, can you see that 12 into 5 is 60? So, v is equals to minus 60. Now, v is equals to u, so u is also equals to minus 60. So, which is correct option? Which is correct option? Option number A. Okay. Moving further. Is this point clear? This is very useful question, very useful concept that I have told you, both these statements. This is again a question of optics. How many of you have solved this question during the exam? Okay, there is a new person, I think 91986. Tell me your name, bacha. Question says, okay. At what maximum angle should a ray of light be incident on the face of a prism of refracting angle 75 degrees? So first of all, in the first line, what I have seen that there is a refracting prism. This is a refracting prism, which has the angle of prism as 75 degrees. That's what is given in the first line. And in the next line, the refractive index of the material of the prism is root 2. That means its refractive index is given as root 2. One more thing that I got. Now, come back to the question. At what maximum angle should a ray of light be incident on the face? That means the angle of incidence they are asking. So let's suppose this is the incident ray. This is the incident ray. So at the point where it incidents, we have drawn a normal like that I have told you already. Now this ray will bend towards the normal and reach this point. The point at which it reaches, we will again draw a normal at that point. This is the again normal. Now they are saying it will uh, so that it just suffers TIR. Just suffers TIR means that the angle of incidence at the second phase, this is the first phase, this is the second phase. So at the second phase, angle of incidence should be at least equals to theta c. Should be at least equals to theta c. Theta c is what? Mention in the chat box. What is theta c here? Yeah. Theta c is critical angle. Theta c is what? Critical angle. Very good, Veena. Critical angle. Okay. So now one more thing, I think from the derivation thing or from the discussion lecture, you know that this angle is denoted by R1 and this angle is denoted by R2. And for the prism, what we have learned there that R1 plus R2 is equals to one of prism. That's what we know that from the derivation thing or from the chapter thing, theory thing. Now, but this R2 should be equals to theta c for TIR to happen at least or should be greater than theta c. Now, what we know that sine theta c is equals to rarer by denser. Rarer is outside air. Denser is root 2, that is 1 by root 2. So theta c is equals to 45 degree. Is it clear? That means theta c is nothing but R2 is equals to 45 degree. So can you get R1 here? So R1 is equals to 75 minus 45, that is 30 degree. Is this R1 clear? Theta c is clear. Why? How we get theta c? Theta c is nothing but critical angle. If it is critical angle, that is 45 degree, then I place this value here and R1 is 30 degree. Now, apply Snell's law. Why not cos? Okay, this is the formula. This is not something that I have used sine because of some mathematics thing. This is the formula that we have derived using Snell's law for the critical angle. So this is the formula that you should remember. What was the formula here? That sine theta c is equals to rarer medium divided by mu of denser medium. This is the formula. Is it clear, Chechuni? Okay, now moving further. Now apply Snell's law. Let this is point A. So using Snell's law at point A. So if I use Snell's law, you can see that what is Snell's law? Refractive index, this is 1. Let's suppose this is angle of incidence I. So refractive index into sine I is equals to refractive index of the other medium, which is root 2 into sine, and the angle of refraction is R1, and R1 is what? 30. So sine I will be root 2 into 1 by 2. Sine 30 is 1 by 2. So if you solve it, it will become sine I is equals to 1 by root 2. So I is equals to 45 degree. So what would be the angle? I should be 45 degree, which is option number A. This is again a very good question. However, not that lengthy, very quite easy. If you know the formulas, you can solve this question very easily. Moving further. This is a question of photoelectric effect, or you can say dual nature. The statement, there are two statements. One is mentioned as assertion, another is reason. So out of the four options, you need to pick one. So assertion says photoelectric effect establishes particle nature of light. This is the well-known thing that there are certain phenomena which shows wave nature. There are certain phenomena which shows particle nature. So photoelectric effect is one of the phenomena which shows particle nature. So assertion is completely true. Assertion is true. Very good. In the second statement, every incident photon of light on a metal surface can eject a photoelectron. Now, this is not true. What is the condition that photon will eject an electron? The energy of the photon must be greater than the work function. Only then the photon will be, the electron will be ejected. But they are saying that every incident photon of light will eject the photoelectron. That's not true. That means assertion is correct, but reason is not correct. That means reason is what? A is correct, but R is not correct. So which is option number B. Very good. Moving further. Now, this is again a very important question. In this question, the question says, let's see, germanium and silicon diodes conduct 0.3 volt and 0.7 volt respectively. That means the first diode conducts 0.3 volt and this is 0.7 volt. Clear? Now, if germanium diode connections are reversed, the value of V naught changes by. Now, this is again a very good question. Listen, one thing for sure. First is initial situation. Initial situation when germanium diode is connected as shown in the diagram. In that situation, out of the two diodes, germanium or silicon, you can see both are going to be forward biased because both positive is connected with the positive of the battery. But out of which diode will conduct first? Which diode will conduct first? Germanium or silicon? Germanium will conduct at 0.3 volt and silicon will conduct at 0.7 volt. So which of the diode will conduct first? You will say that germanium will conduct first. And as soon as the germanium starts conducting, listen my words, don't get confused. As soon as the germanium starts conducting, it becomes closed switch. And when it becomes closed switch, all of the current will pass through this germanium diode and no current will pass through the silicon diode and it will remain unconnected, or you can say remain unbiased thing. It will not conduct silicon because first germanium will conduct. So initially I will say germanium will conduct and silicon will not conduct. What does it mean? That 12 volt potential is applied initially. 0.3 volt is taken by the germanium diode. So the remaining 11.7 volt is will reach at V naught. So V naught will be 11.7 volt. Is this point clear? Because 12 volt is applied, 0.3 volt is utilized by the germanium diode and remaining 11.7 volt will reach at the point V naught. Now there is a final situation when diodes terminal are reversed. Which diode is reversed? Germanium diode will reverse. So if germanium diode is reversed, then it will not conduct. It will not conduct, only silicon diode will conduct in that case. And if silicon will conduct, so I will say silicon diode will conduct. If silicon diode will conduct, 12 volt is applied initially. This is 12 volt which is applied initially. This is 12 volt. 0.7 volt is utilized by silicon diode. So remaining potential at V naught will be 11.3 volt. Very good. So final potential V naught is 11.3 volt. So what is the change in the potential of V naught? You can see initially it was 11.7, now it is 11.3. So what is the change? Delta V is equals to 0.4 volt, which is option number B. Clear? Moving further. Again, this is a question of magnetic field, I think magnetic force. Now I will ask you the formula. A magnetic field of 2K, that means B is given as 2K cap. Okay. Exerts a force. So force is also given 2I plus 2J on a particle having charge. Q is also given, that is 1 millicoulomb. 1 millicoulomb is 10 to the power minus 3 coulomb. Find the velocity of the particle. So which formula should I use or should we use? You know that force on a moving charge is F is equals to Q V cross B. Is it clear? This is the formula that we have already studied. Now, They are asking about what should be the velocity. So I will say that assume velocity is something, or you can see the option. Velocity has options something in I and j cap. So I am mentioning here v is something vx I cap plus vy j cap. I can also take k cap, but by the options it is clear that there is no k cap there. So I am taking only x and y components of the velocity. Clear? Now, put this value f is equals to 2 I cap plus 2 j cap is equals to q is what? 10 raised to the power minus 3. V is what? Vx I cap plus Vy j cap. And magnetic field is what? 2 k cap. And there is a cross product. Now do the cross product. It will become 2 I cap plus 2 j cap is equals to 10 raised to the power minus 3. If I multiply this, it will become 2Vx. I am multiplying this one, 2Vx. And I cross k will be what? Which question, Mukesh, you are asking? Kshitiz, Mukesh, which question you are asking? The previous one or this current one? Okay. I cross k is what? I cross k. Can you answer me? Do you remember this thing? This I, J, K thing. So I cross k is what? Minus j. Very good, Bina. So you can say it will become minus j. So minus I will place here. It is j cap plus Vy, 2Vy, and j cross k is what? I cap. Is it clear? Now I can send this 10 raised to the power minus 3 to this side. I am skipping the one step here. I am sending this 10 raised to power minus 3 this side. Let's see. I am sending it. So this 10 raised to power minus 3 will become 10 raised to the power 3 in the numerator side. Now compare both the sides. And if I compare both the sides, you can say that the component of I cap is 2Vy. And I cap component here is 2 into 10 raised to power 3. So I will compare the components of I cap. That means 2 times Vy is equals to 2 into 10 raised to the power 3. So Vy is equals to 1000. Similarly, if you compare the components of J cap, that means minus 2Vx is equals to J cap is 2 into 10 raised to the power 3. So Vx is equals to minus 1000. Now you know the value of Vx and Vy. Where will you put this value? In this equation number 1. Put the value and you will get the answer. And if I put Vx is minus 1000 I cap plus 1000 J cap, minus 1000 I cap plus 1000 J cap, which is option number A. Which is option number A. Clear? Say yes or no whether this question is clear or not. What we did here, they are asking me the velocity. I have assumed the velocity to be Vx I cap, Vy j cap, and solve this question. Moving further. Now this is class 11th question. What are they asking? They are saying that L is something 3.02 plus minus 0.1 meter. then value of 3L will be option A. Very good. I think everyone got that answer now. You can add in addition or subtraction. The errors also add. The errors also add. So if you add 3L, then it will become 9.06 plus minus error is 0.01. So if you add it three times, it will become 0.03. This is a very simple question, nothing to do with that. So option A is correct. Now in this question, what is correct answer? This is again simply a calculation based question, and then there is a rounding of thing. They are saying that there is a charge 2.0345 microcoulomb and an extra charge 15.2 microcoulomb is added to it. If you solve this, it will become 5, 4, 3, 2, and 17. This is the total charge. But when you are adding things in addition or subtraction, one thing to be remembered, the final answer must have those number of significant figure that contained by the number which has least significant figures. So this number has three significant figures. So output must have three significant figure, 1, 2, and 3. So up to this point, answer should be there. All other terms should be rounded off. So while rounding off, we can see that this 3 is smaller than 5. If 3 is smaller than 5, then we can easily skip that. So final answer will be 17.2, which is option number D. So this is a question based on significant figures. This is a rememberable question. Torque is the physical quantity of pressure, nothing else. Very good. Now, in this question, we talk about two persons, Raju and someone, Ria, starts from their homes towards Ellen in a straight line. Then the incorrect statement is, if you see the graph, okay, Sushant is saying D. Okay. Very good, Sushant. From the statement or from the diagram, first statement says talks about speed. So if you talk about this is a position time graph. This is what position time graph. Then the slope will give the speed and velocity. Speed or velocity, you can say, because this is moving in a straight line path, then both will be same. So which has more slope? You can see that this is the slope of Ria and this is the slope of Raju. Let's suppose this is alpha. You can clearly see that slope, then that means angle is more for Ria. That means Ria moves faster. So speed of Ria is more than that of Raju. This is the correct statement, true statement. Acceleration of both are zero because these both graph are for constant velocity. So this statement is also true. Both start at the same time. This is also true. You can see both are starting at 0 time. Raju walks faster. In the first statement, we say that Ria is moving faster. So Raju cannot move faster. So that means D is correct option because they are asking the incorrect question. Incorrect option. So which is option number D. Very good, Sushant. Now this is again a good question. A particle is projected from ground with a speed something a I cap a square j cap. If range of particle is something 25 meter, the value of a is take g as 10 meter per second square. Okay, someone has answered. Very good. Someone has answered A. Okay. Can I assume that you have solved this question during the exam? Then it's very good. What we know that, let's suppose this is a particle which is projected. This is the ground and the particle is projected something like that. It will follow that path. It is projected by you at an angle theta. So what we do first, we do the components. The horizontal component is u cos theta and the vertical component is u sin theta. This is clear. Now, what is the formula for the range? Range is equals to u square sine 2 theta over g. You need to remember this relation. Now, if I open sine 2 theta, it will become u square. Sine 2 theta means 2 sine theta. 2 I am writing here. Sine theta cos theta over g. I have put the formula of sine 2 theta. 2 sine theta into cos theta. Now, this is the term u square. I can again write it as r is equals to 2 is already there. U sine theta into u cos theta divided by g. Is there any problem in this? I have made u square as u into u. Now you can clearly see that u sine theta is the vertical component, u cos theta is the horizontal component. Now in the question, the speed is given as a I cap, a square j cap, a square j cap. A I cap means I cap belongs to the horizontal component, that is horizontal component is a. So I am putting the value 2 over g. U sine theta is vertical component which is a square. U cos theta is the horizontal component which is a. And range is given as I think something 25 meter. Now you can solve this question. If you solve, you can place the value of g as 10. It will be 5. That is 125. So a cube will be 125 and a will be 5, which is very good. Usually option number A. This is again theoretical question of work energy and power. Change in potential energy is defined for, you should remember, conservative forces only. Change in potential energy is defined for conservative forces only. Now this is a question. Try solving the question. Two identical balls, each of mass 2 kg. This is 2 kg, this is 2 kg. Are moving towards each other with speed 3 meter per second and 4 meter per second. This is moving 3 meter per second. This is moving 4 meter per second. This is ball A, this is ball B. Both are of equal masses. This is given. And they undergo head-on perfectly elastic collision. Then impulse imparted by one ball on the other. Now this is again a very good question. Listen to me very carefully now. The collision is head-on and both are of identical mass. So what we have studied that whenever the two identical bodies collide head on, then their velocities gets exchanged. So that means after the collision, A will move with the velocity of B and B will move with the velocity of A. This is a standard thing that you should remember, that identical bodies if collide, then their velocities will get interchanged. Clear? Now, they are asking the impulse. So what we have seen that impulse is equals to change in momentum. Impulse is equals to change in momentum. This is the initial diagram and this is the final diagram. If I want to calculate the impulse on B, then I need to calculate the change in momentum of the A. So if I calculate the change in momentum of the A, so impulse will be P final minus P initial. Final momentum of A is what? This is 2 kg. This is 2 kg. Final momentum of A is 2 into 4. Mass into velocity 4 in 2 into 4 yani 8. But that is towards the left. That is minus 8. Minus P initial is what? P initial is what? 2 into 3. Mass into velocity, that is 6. Minus 6. So that is minus 14. Impulse is what? Minus 14. This minus sign is nothing but the direction. So the impulse is 14 Newton second, which is option number B. Moving further. A weightless rod. How many of you solved this question? Which chapter this question belongs? Tell me the chapter. Tell me the chapter, from which chapter this question belongs. Tell me the name of the chapter. There is a weightless rod. This is a weightless rod. Clear? Is acted upon by upward parallel forces of 6 Newton and 10 Newton at the end. So at the end, there are two forces. One is of 6 Newton, one is of 9 Newton. Clear? The total length of the rod is 5 meter. Okay. Total length is 5 meter. Okay, you don't know the chapter. Nobody knows the name of the chapter of this question. This is not the good thing. To keep the rod in equilibrium, a force of 15 Newton should act in the following manner. Now, one thing, whenever they are talking about equilibrium, I have told you there are two equilibriums. One is translational equilibrium, one is rotational equilibrium. Now, at least tell me, what is the chapter name? What is the chapter name? I think most of the students are there who have attended the classes, I think. Rotational motion, very good. At least answer. Veena. So what I'm saying, that two types of equilibrium are there. One is translational equilibrium. Another is rotational equilibrium. For translational equilibrium, net force should be 0. For rotational equilibrium, net torque should be 0. I think now something is coming in your mind. Net torque should be 0. The net force on the body is 6 Newton and 9 Newton in the upward direction. That is 15 Newton in the upward direction. So net force should be 15 Newton, or you can say the force that is to be applied 15 Newton in the downward direction. So I am assuming that 15 Newton is applied in the downward direction. That is 15 Newton. Clear? This is end A, this is end B. Check that whether I have placed A and B correctly or not. Now, at which distance? Let's suppose this 15 Newton is acting at a distance x from the end A. So this will be 5 minus x. Clear? For net torque to be 0, I am taking torque. Let's suppose this is something point anything. Let's suppose this is O. Taking torque about O. So if I take torque about O, then net torque should be 0. There is torque 1, torque 2, and torque 3. Out of this, torque 3 is 0 because it is acting at the same point where we have chosen the axis. So tau 3 is 0. That means tau 1 and tau 2. And you can clearly see that tau 1 will rotate the body in the anti-clockwise direction. That means this tau 1 is negative and tau2 will rotate the body in the clockwise direction, so it is going to be positive. So now take the torque, write the torque equation. So tau1 is equals to, it is going to be negative. Torque is equals to R into F. R is what? 5 minus X into force is what? 9 Newton. Plus torque 2 is what? Force is 6 Newton. Distance is X. That is X into 6 equals to 0. Net torque is 0. Now you can transfer the equation. This is minus 45 plus 9x plus 6x equals to 0. That means 15x is equals to 45. So x is equals to what? 3 meter. That means from A, the 15 Newton should be at a distance 3 meter. Now check the option. Which option is correct? First option says any point between A and B, not at any point. Downward at midpoint, this is not the midpoint. This is also wrong. At point C, such as AC is equals to 2 meter. No, AC should be 3 meter. That means this statement is also wrong. Downward at point D such that BD is equals to 2 meter. From BD, this is 3 meter. So this is going to be 2 meter. So this is the correct answer, which is 2 meter. Should I move further? These questions are from the chapter that we have covered in the crash course. This is a very simple question. Everyone should answer. There is a spherical shell. I think someone has answered between the last two options. Okay. Okay. Go back to the previous slide. Just remove the confusion. They are saying, let's suppose this is the rod AB. Listen to me very carefully. This is the rod AB. A and B. Okay. Let's draw it here. Now they are saying downward, the 50 Newton force should act downward at a point C like this. At a point C, they are saying 50 Newton force should be acting at a point C such that AC is equals to 2 meter. But what we got, that distance of the 50 Newton force from point A is 3 meter. That what we got. We got that it should be at 3 meter. But the option says it should be at 2 meters. So this option is wrong. Option D says, yes, Bitcha, point C is O. We have taken it as O, but the question is taking it as one time C, another time D. This is just the language. At a point D such that BD is equals to 2 meter. BD means, D means the point at which force is applied. C means the point at which force is applied. So we have taken that point as O, nothing else. I think it's clear. Okay, in this question, if I say a spherical shell, there is a spherical shell, okay, of something mass, whatever it is. The thing is that a point mass of some mass is placed inside it. So whenever I say this is Newton's shell theorem, the shell theorem says the gravitational field inside a spherical shell is 0. If gravitational field is 0, that means there will be no effect of another of the gravitational force. So the gravitational force at this point is also 0. What you should remember, that gravitational field inside a spherical shell is 0. That's a simple question, theoretical question, nothing else. This is another question. On a planet whose size is same as the Earth, that means radius is same, but mass is 4 times that of Earth. Okay. That means there is a planet which is similar to Earth in size, but mass, this is our Earth, this is our Earth, this is some other planet. It has a mass m, it has a mass 4m. So if the mass changes, then the acceleration due to gravity will also change, because you know that acceleration due to gravity is what? G m over r square, where this r is the radius, m is the mass, g is the universal constant, g is the acceleration due to gravity. Now, if I say on the planet g is something g dash over g is the gravitation at the earth, then you can clearly see that there are two constant here. G is constant, r square is constant. So that will be m dash over m. Or you can say new mass is 4m divided by m. So g dash is equals to 4 times of g. That's what we got. Now they are saying the energy required to lift a 2 kg mass vertically upward through 2 meter. Energy required, or you can say the work required. So this is a 2 kg block. 2 kg block. So its weight is generally what mg. We say that on earth its weight is mg. But here g is equals to 40. So that will be 2 into 40. And it is being displaced by what distance? 2 meter. So work done or energy required will be force into displacement. Force required should be 80. Displacement is 2. That is 360 joule of energy is required. I have placed something wrong. 360. It's 80 into 2, 160, na? It's 160. It's 160 joule. Work done is equals to force into displacement. That is 160 joule. Clear? This is again another question. Read the question. Let's suppose when this 10 Newton force is applied, then there will be a tension that will create in this. Tension is always opposite to the contact points. Let's suppose this tension is what? T. Here, we are required, the breaking stress is given something 2 into 10 is power 9. The radius of the wire is asked. Now listen to me. First of all, we will calculate the value of tension. So what will be the acceleration of this block? You can say acceleration is equals to force over total mass. Force is what? 10 Newton. Total mass of the system is 3. Can you see that 2 kg block and 1 kg total mass is 3? So acceleration is going to be 10 by 3. For 1 kg block, if I write, which force is providing the acceleration? Tension. That means tension should be equals to mass into acceleration. That means T should be equals to mass is what? 1, acceleration is what? 10 by 3. So tension is equals to 10 by 3 Newton. Now, we know that stress is equals to, I think you also know that, force per unit area. The stress is given as breaking stress, and that is given as something 2 into 10 raised to the power 9 is equals to force that is created in the wire is T. T is something 10 by 3 and area is something pi r square. By solving this equation, you will get R. And if I solve it approximately, if I try to solve it, it will become something approximation you can do here. R square will become something 10 by 3 into 3.14, which is pi, divided by 2 into 10 raised to the power 9. This is r square. If I move this 10 raised power 9 above, then it will become 10 raised power minus 9. Or after this, 339 into 2, 18. 18. That is 10 by 18. 5 by 9. You can solve that. You will get answer something. You will solve it. Because if I do it, it will take longer time by solving it. You can solve it and you will get the answer. The answer will be yours. Moving further. One more question or two more questions we can take here. What is the percentage change in the length of 1 meter iron rod if its temperature changes by 100 degrees Celsius? Now, this is question of thermal properties or thermal expansion, you can say. You can say, remember that change in the length delta L is equals to alpha L delta T. This is what you should remember. I think you remember this relation, na? Change in length equals to alpha L delta T. So change in length delta L is equals to alpha is what? 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 5. Length is what? 1 meter. Temperature change is what? 100 degree. So you can see that delta L is equals to 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. This is change in the length. Now they are asking the percentage change in the length. Percentage change in the length is equals to change in the length divided by original length into 100. Now you can see that delta L is what? 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. Original length is what? 1 multiplied by 100. So that will be 0.2%, which is option number A. One more question we can take here. This is the last question. A charged particle of charge Q is moving in a circle of circumference L. Okay, first of all, draw a circle. This is the circle. The total circumference is L. Remember this. With speed V, suppose this is the charged particle and moving with some speed V. The associated magnetic moment is given by. So the magnetic moment, they are representing it with mu. The magnetic moment is equals to I into A, or you can say NIA, where N is the number of turns. So they are not dealing with number of turns. So N is 1 here. What is here? I into A. The magnitude of charge is Q, revolving with a speed V. So I, you know that I is equals to charge over time. You don't know I is equals to Q over T. T is the time. So I will say I is equals to charge is Q. Time to complete one revolution is what? Time is equals to distance over speed now. So distance in one revolution is L, given as circumference as L. Divided by speed is V. So V will be here into area. Area is what? Pi r square. Is this point clear? I have placed N as one revolution I have taken. In one revolution, charge transferred from any one point or any one cross section is Q, divided by time to complete one revolution is time is equals to distance over speed. Distance is L, speed is V, into pi r square. Now I have to calculate r, radius. So given as circumference 2 pi r is equals to L. So r is equals to L upon 2 pi. Put this value, mu is equals to, if I put that is QV over L already there. Pi is already there. If I square R, it will become L square by 4 pi square. Now you can cancel few things out here. Pi will be cancelled. L will be cancelled. What it will become? QVL over 4 pi, which is option number D. So what you should remember from this question, that magnetic moment is equals to NIA, where N is the number of turns, I is the current, A is the area. So I think it's done now for today's session. There are a lot of questions remaining. Okay, so no issue. Let's end the session. In the next class, we will discuss new chapter. Till then, bye everyone.